Funmi Ilori, and I'm the CEO of Funmi Virtuous Educational Consults, owners of I Read Mobile Library. I Read Mobile Library is a library on wheels. We go from schools to schools and we visit communities of underserved children. Our dream is to build the largest network of libraries in Africa. I Read Mobile Library has about 4 vans now, and we also just received a donation of another van so that we can serve more children. The reading culture is dwindling, and we know that when we have children that read, we're actually raising leaders. And that's why we're interested in the reading culture of children. I Read Library started about some 14 years ago. That was when the dream came up. I had a training at DAV Christian Center. It was a leadership training, and there we were told to write down a dream, a big dream that seemed like we would not be able to achieve it. And I got inspiration from God, and I put down to build the largest library in Africa. I didn't know what that dream was, or I didn't know what exactly it meant, but I knew that, if you're going to build the largest library in Africa, it looked like something you couldn't achieve. And so after putting it down, we're asked to develop a business plan, all the people that you're going to be employing, working with you. I asked a lot of questions around that. And by the time we're supposed to submit that assignment, they told us to go and start with what you have. And so, even though I wasn't too happy, I took my baskets and put my books, put my DVDs. I started going from door to door, telling people I was running a mobile library. 10 years down the line, I got the opportunity to participate in a business plan by the federal government. It's called the UWIN. And then I won 10 million naira to be able to start off my business. And that was how we started I Read Mobile Library in 2013. All right, growing up, I had a very helpful father and mother, and also siblings. My dad is a retired army officer. My mom is a teacher, and I have 3 siblings, 2 boys and a girl. And we all attended command secondary schools, Ikeja and Ikpaja. I was in the boarding school, and I realized that growing up, I already had this entrepreneurial mind, because I remembered being in the boarding school, we had the problem of feeding. We were always fed, but somehow the seniors would call on the juniors and tell us to buy them noodles. And for us to get the noodles, we had to send the boys to go across the fence, and we would even tip them to get the noodles. And you just couldn't but come back with the noodles. And so I remember I sent a message to my mom to say, can you send me noodles in school? Seniors always like to buy it. And she sent me a dozen of the noodles, and anytime I or any of my friends are sent to buy noodles, they would just come to my locker and I would sell to them. And that way I was able to send back money and get new stock. And I think that was how my entrepreneurial journey started. As a young girl, I wasn't much of a reader. I remember that my dad would ask us to sit in front of the television and listen to the news. And at the end of it, he would ask us to retell what it was that had been said. But somehow I wasn't able to recall. And I just felt there was something wrong with me, because when I'm in class and I listen to my teachers, that was all I needed to pass my exams. I needed to be in class. I used to pay a lot of attention, but I didn't used to go the extra mile. I didn't used to go to the library. I didn't have time to read novels, unlike my other mates. But something tells me that if I had that culture in me, it would have been better. But thank God for the institutions that I engaged in, especially with regards to church. Later, Daystar encourages us to read. And so I set a target to read 1 book a month. And ever since, the first book I read growing up was Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read that in the university. As a young girl, I was a member of the Nigerian Red Cross, and up till date I'm still a member. I remembered volunteering my time during the January 27th bomb blast, and I was with displaced persons at the Ikeja cantonment, attending to them. There were several children there that couldn't even go to school, and I remember that these children need to be attended to. The fact that they're displaced does not mean that life has to end for them. So whenever I think over this set of children, I know that I need to reach out more to children that are underserved. We've had to visit Makoko community, and just before we went, some people warned us ahead to say, when you're going to Makoko, you go there with food, you go there with biscuits, you go there with candies and not books. But I insisted that no, biscuits and candies would finish, but books need to, the things that would last a lifetime. And so when we got there with the mobile library, the children were excited. They'd never seen anything like that before, and many of them chipped in. And so anytime we go there now, they're used to the mobile library, visiting the community. Another instance is what happens within my own local community. Every Sunday, I pack the mobile library and ask children to come in to read. And one of such Sundays, a young girl came in, and while I was trying to attend to her, tell her what it is that she needed to do, another girl told me, she can't hear you. I said, what? I said, she's deaf. And that really touched me to see a child that cannot speak nor hear me is also interested in reading. So I picked up different colorful picture books and I started demonstrating to her. Every Sunday, I cannot but pack the mobile library there just to have a conversation with this little girl. And I'm very willing to do much more, go to more areas, more communities such as this to really interact with the children. One of the schools that we always visit on a weekly basis, we had a flat tire and we had to go to the vulcanizer. While there was this little chap, just about 3 years old, that went to meet the vulcanizer and said, "Tell me moto yi," in Yoruba language, who owns this car? And the man pointed at us that we were the owners. So he came across the road and said, "Oh, I know how to fix tires." And I said, "You small boy?" He said, I have power. I can fix this tire. I'm just going to hit it like this, and he was telling me all the technicalities in fixing a tire. I got interested. So luckily the mobile library was just what we were going to fix. So I took him to the van and he was wild, like, what are books doing in a vehicle? We told him to choose one book that would be of interest, and he just packed sets of books. And we asked for his name. His name is Abba, and he told us that, oh, he likes to read. He was opening the books, especially the ones that had vehicles, and Abba was just pointing at them. He has never been to school, and every week now we visit Abba. Abba is learning to read. His dad is also interested. Along the streets, everybody knows Abba because Abba does not go to school, but he's just there looking out for what the organizer is doing and probably hoping to be a organizer too. I'm trusting that with our impact on Abba, introducing him to education, Abba would have new dreams that he would be able to accomplish. Most of the things that we have they're things that lie within us. They're internal things. You have your voice, you have your brain, you have your skills, you have your passion. Because I found out that many people are looking for what they do not have. And it's important that they leverage on what they have. They have relationships, they have whether parents or siblings or neighbors, people they've grown up with. And it's important that they leverage on all of those things that they have in order to start up what it is that they're doing. Secondly, they need to follow their passion. Many people want to do the things that other people are doing, but you would succeed more if it is something you have interest in. I have interest in children. When I first started the mobile library, my target was towards the adults. And I found out that many of the adults are willing to pay the bill, but they don't really want to read. And so I was a bit frustrated with the fact that they were paying, but they were not reading. They had many excuses for why they were not reading. Right now, even when the children do not have to pay, I feel very fulfilled, because this is an industry that I love, and I'm able to excel doing this. Something else they need to do is have a mentor. Many times we don't really see people we want to look up to. For example, we are the first in this industry running a mobile library service as a social enterprise, and we don't have anybody we're looking up to. Most of the information we have to Google it. However, we have mentors that look out for us. They see what it is that we can leverage on. They give us information, and it's important for you to search out who this mentor is. Luckily for me, I have this very special mentor who I did not even look out for, but found me in the place of doing the work that I'm passionate about. And through my mentor, I've been able to access a lot of opportunities. It's important that we get information, get mentorship, and also be informed. You need to develop yourself personally. You are not more than the information that you have. So read a lot of books, look down on Google. There's so much available on the internet. And with these few tips, I'm sure we would excel in what it is that we do. It's important for you to be able to juggle everything that you do. No one should be above the other, especially when it has to do with your health, your time, your God. And I'm able to juggle all of it because I have a to-do list. Every day I come up with a to-do list. I have time for my family. As very busy as I am, I have time for recreation. Because we don't have a television, we've also scheduled time to go to the movies. So once a month, myself and the kids, we go to the movies. We also have time to go for swimming. So we do swimming once a month too. Of course, we live in the library, so we always read. Aside that, for my members of staff, I've scheduled trainings. So every week we have a training that we need to develop ourselves with. We have schedules to go to the schools and communities. And with our to-do list, we have goals that we have set. Every week we review the goals. Every week we review the goals. And if we do that consistently, then it's easier to manage your time. It's important. I cannot overemphasize the need for reading. Readers are indeed leaders. And even when you have attained the leadership role that you take in your different sphere of life, in your communities, you cannot still afford not to read, even if you're just going to lose it all. And so we need to begin to groom the children. It's important that parents buy their children books. It's important that parents access the libraries. Fine, you may say, oh, there's no library in my community. Just put a call through to iRead. iRead would visit you in your home. We're not even going to wait for you to come to the static library. The mobile library would visit you in your home. All of our details are right there on the screen. So you can visit us, check out our website, look through our social media pages. We're always recruiting volunteers because the work is not something we alone can do. So we need volunteers to join us, to also reach out to their own communities. Our volunteers are integrated because we also train them on the expectations and what it is that they can help the children achieve. My name is Funmi Ilori. I'm the CEO of Funmi Virtuous Educational Consults Limited, founder of iRead Mobile Library Network Africa.